Hey everyone, welcome to our chair yoga practice for August the 9th. Close your eyes, come to a seated position, sitting towards the front of your chair, bringing the spine to a neutral position. And focus on the breath. See if the movement of the breath is an indicator of your state of mind as you come into the practice today. And let each inhale and exhale breath prepare you for your practice. Prepare you to focus on the movement of the body, the movement of the breath, the coordination of the movement of the body and the breath. You notice the belly moving softly with each inhale and exhale breath. Notice the weight of the upper body concentrated into the sit bones as you sit towards the front edge of your chair. Notice the weight evenly distributed from the left onto the left and right sit bone, and on the sit bones, front to back. Draw the shoulder blades back, open. Opening the chest to allow more ease of movement of the breath. Now begin to bring more consciousness to the breath. Accentuating the movement of the belly with each inhale and exhale breath. Evening the length of the breath to match the length of the inhale and exhale breath. Taking the breath more deeply into the lower reaches of the lungs. And extending this focus on the movement of the breath to include the movement of the body. Let's take the arms down towards the side. Let's begin to warm up the spine by moving from side to side, taking the right fingertips down towards the floor, left fingertips towards the floor. And try and bring that movement solely into that plane of movement from right to left. Work to even out that lateral deflection of the spine along the whole length of the spine. Once more down towards the right. Once more towards the left. And now moving the left arm overhead, almost making a windmill motion with the hands as we go right for one, left for one, right for two, left for two, three, four, five, and six, and six. And come back to center. Stretch the arms out towards the side walls. Draw the shoulder blades slightly down the back. Open the palms. So the eye at the elbow points towards the ceiling. Hold the upper arm in position and then rotate the hands towards the floor. Breathe here. Take the right arm over the left. Walk the shoulder or fingertips onto the shoulder blades. Breathing here. And now bring the palms together. Breathe. Unravel the arms. Stretch out to the side of the room again. And we head right over left, so take left over right. And once again, walk the fingertips onto the shoulder blades. Feel the shoulder blades away from the spine. And then work towards the palms meeting in front of the face. Lifting the fingertips towards the ceiling as we breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale. Unwind the arms. Bring the hands onto the thighs. Inhale and do it. Lift the chest. And then exhale, round towards the back of the chair. And see if you can notice yourself rolling front to back over the sit bones. For 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Come back to neutral. Bring the elbows onto, glue them onto the lowest ribs. And we'll just do a few warm-ups here. We're going to repeat this work with weights, but now we're just going to warm up those joints that we're going to be using later. 1, and open for 1. 2, open for 2. And 3, open for 3. Bring the hands back in front. Lower down, lift up, and then push the arms up overhead. Back down, lower for 2, up, push up for 2, and back down, lower for 3, and push up for 3, back down. Bring the hands back onto the thighs. Inhale. Let's lift the arms overhead. Exhale, left hand to outside of right thigh. And twist. Bring that right. See if you can snuggle the right wrist towards the base of the sacrum. Twisting first towards our right. And then exhale, twisting towards our left side. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. Let's lean slightly forward and place the hand or support the elbows on the thighs and just open the wrists towards the floor for 3, and then turn that, and then 1, 2, and 3. Let's come back to center. Going to continue to warm up the upper body, but starting to get moving into the lower body now as well. We're going to make some nice big circles with the upper body. So let's go to the right, go forward, across, back, forward, across, back, forward, across, and back. And now go in the opposite direction, across, forward, across, and back, across, forward, across, and back, and across, forward, across, and back. Now we're going to change that motion into a figure 8. So instead of going across from this back to the right, go forward, across, diagonal, back, diagonal, across, diagonal, back, and come back to center. Then go that same motion, but in the opposite direction. Then come back to center. Let's bring the attention now to those core muscles all the way up the front of the body, those muscles we've been working on in our recent practices. And start with the pelvic floor. And now let's draw the sit bones in towards center for 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 3. And now the tailbone and the pubic bone come in towards center. 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 3. And now both front to back and side to side. 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 3. Feet hip distance apart, heels below the knees. Let's take the arms to the side. And again, straighten. So we're going to do sort of a seated march. But during the seated march, I want you to really focus on the support the front body gets from the core muscles. So bringing that strong support to the core. Lift. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Both feet back onto the floor. Draw the heels slightly back towards the seat of the chair. Strengthen those core muscles. Lean forward slightly. Either leave the hands on the thighs, stretch the arms out in front, or raise them overhead. And lift the seat away for chair pose. And let's go back towards the chair. Interlace the fingers around the right shin. Draw the right shin in towards the right shoulder. Flex and point the toes. Circle and circle. Let's interlace the hands behind the thigh, and you can release the thigh as well and just hold the arms out to the side. We're going to lift the lower leg up towards me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Drop that knee onto the floor. Draw the left foot back towards you. Press both hands into the left thigh and feel that left calf stretching towards the floor, or the left heel moving towards the floor and the stretch in the left calf. Switch the position of the legs now with the right heel towards the slightly behind the knee. Stretch the left foot out in front. And now press the right heel towards the floor and lean forward over the leg. Inhale, come back to center. Draw both knees into center. Interlace the fingers, non-dominant grip. Come around the left shin, flex and point the toes. Circle in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. Draw in. And let's release the left foot onto the floor. Let's take the legs slightly wider than hip distance and let the knees sway in on one another. Walk the feet back to hip distance. Come back to seated mountain pose. And each time you come to seated mountain pose, let's bring the attention to those muscles running down the front of the body, those core muscles. Feel them supporting the whole body, almost like a plank that's there to support you, to keep the spine in alignment. Take one more full breath in here. Sigh the exhale out through the mouth. And let's pick up or find our weights. So sitting towards the front of our chair, let's lean forward, support the elbows on the on the thighs with the one weight in each hand and palms towards the ceiling. Open the wrists towards the floor for 1 and curl in for 1. Open for 2, curl in for 2, open for 3, curl in for 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Now, turn the palms towards the floor and lift and lower the weights for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's bring the weights to the side now, and we'll repeat that side-to-side movement again. Now with the extra resistance added from the weights going to the floor for 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. Bring the attention back to the core. 4. Is the core supporting the front body? 5 and 5 and 6 and 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. And let's just come back to the center for a moment. Take the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. 3, and down. We're going to do another set of the side-to-side movement for 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. And come back to center. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Bring the weights. Lock the elbows into the lower ribs. Bring the weights out in front. So we're going to do a curl. We're going to begin with a curl. So curl, and then lift the arms overhead. We did that warm up earlier. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12, and 12. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. And once more, forward, up, back, and down. Let's set one weight aside and just hold the weight with both hands. So take the feet slightly wider than hip distance. And we're going to do a move you might call wood chopping. So Reaching down, let's lift the weight overhead and split that piece of wood. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Let's come back to seated. How's everybody doing? Feeling a bit of fatigue yet? Oh, Mary says, turn it up, turn it up. We're not quite into HIIT yet, high intensity interval training. That's where you're supposed to, in high intensity interval training, 3 reps is supposed to exhaust you. So we'll do one more. We'll just add a little bit of a side to side movement here. So let's begin with the weight in our right hand. So we're going to lift the weight overhead, draw it back, and then reach it to the floor. So reach and down. So this is sort of like the movement of emptying out, as I've said before, emptying out your dishwasher. Think of this emptying out the dishwasher. So you're reaching down, picking up the plates, and putting them on the top shelf. For 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. So let's bring the weight back, switch hands with it. Now, I don't know whether you noticed it or not, but this was really, for me, I found a lot of engagement in those oblique muscles because they're taking us down, and then the oblique muscles are what's pulling us up and then helping us twist slightly towards the opposite side. So let's finish emptying our dishwasher out now, reaching down for 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3. Remember to keep that core support through this whole action, and try and feel the action of the obliques twisting the body. 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Back to center. So let's set the weights aside for the moment and just come back to our seated mountain pose. So hopefully everybody's feeling just a little bit of fatigue from that work. So after after the weight work, you've probably reached about your appropriate level of working with weights. If you just if you're feeling some gentle fatigue, it's not painful or hurting or anything, but you know that you've done some work. So hopefully we got to that stage. And if not, up your weights or work a little harder the next time. Or if it's too much, take the weights down a little bit and maybe stop before we do our 12 reps. So let's come to our seated mountain pose here. And really feel those core muscles supporting the front body. Start right at the pelvic floor and work all the way up, observing that level of support. So I think just before we do our standing work, maybe and since we've got such a good, strong focus on the core muscles, we'll do that forward and back movement that we do, that sort of our highly modified curl that we do. So really make sure keep the chest open and proud during this movement. So there's no rounding of the back. All the movement is coming from that contraction and lengthening of the core muscles. So take a nice deep breath in. Sigh the exhale out through the mouth. And on our next inhale, lean the body towards the back of the chair for 1, and then lift for 1. Lean back for 2. Lift for 2. Lean back for 3. Lift for 3. Lean back for 4. Five. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. Oh, and we'll hold back for 12. Up, down, down, forward, up, back, down. Reverse across. Take a nice deep breath in. Engage those core muscles. Exhale through the mouth. And on the next inhale, lean towards the back of the chair. No rounding the back. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Engage the core. 6. 'Action right from the pelvic floor. All 8. 9, 11, on 12, for 12, 9, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back to center. Set your weights aside and come back to seated mountain pose. Take a drink now, rehydrate. Let's take one more full breath in. Sigh the exhale out through the mouth. Let's shift the body slightly towards the right of the chair. Maybe enough so that you can get the right hip free of the chair. So we've been doing a lot of contracting work for that muscle, the hip flexors. Now let's try and stretch those muscles of the hip flexors out a little bit by bringing the knee down below the hip, either coming onto the toes or the top of the foot. Roll the hip forward and raise the arm overhead. Now let's take that right elbow onto the left knee and twist the body gently towards the left. Inhale, lift up for 1. Exhale for 1. Lift up for 2. Exhale for 2. And lift up for 3. And exhale for 3. Let's come back to center. And now you can either continue with the knee below the hip or stretch the leg back and lift the arm overhead. Try and straighten that knee on the back leg as much as you can and feel the stretch in this area at the front of the hip. And then consider angling the body towards the left side and stretching all the way down the right side of the chest. Inhale, come back to center, and let's glide that back foot in. And let's switch over to the opposite side. So now taking maybe the left hip slightly off the side of the chair. And see if we can bring that left hip, our left knee below the left hip. You can come onto the top of the foot or curl the toes under, raise the arm, and elbow to the right side for 1. 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3. We can come down and now see if we can stretch that leg back, working it towards straight, and lift and twist, or no, lift, and we're going to reach across. Inhale, come back up to center. Draw the right leg in. And let's come up and do a bit of standing work. So grab a drink before we begin our standing work. And we'll do our standing work facing towards the back of our chair. So find that comfortable distance from the chair. Feet are distance apart. Find our standing mountain pose. Base of the big toe, base of into the floor. Toe into the floor. Center the weight on the heel. Draw the tailbone down. Stack the spine. Lift the arms overhead and draw the hands back to heart center for 1, 2, and 3. Bring the hands onto the chair. And so you can support yourself on the chair. And let's step the right foot out behind. Just come on to the right toes. You can maybe bend the left knee as well. And then step the right foot in. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot back and bend the knee for 2 and 2. 3 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 and 6. Come back to standing mountain pose. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, draw the hands back to heart center. Inhale up. Heart center. And final time, inhale up. And heart center. Hands to the back of the chair. And this time the left foot is going to come back behind us and tap the toe. Inhale. Exhale back and tap the toe. So swing it towards, in behind the right foot. Step it forward for 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 6, and 6. Come back to standing mountain pose. Find the foundation. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale back to heart center. Inhale up for 2. Exhale down for 2. Inhale up for 3. Exhale the hands to the back of the chair for, and then walk the feet back away from the chair. Stretch out the spine in an L-shaped pose. Hands on the back of the chair. Press the hands, particularly if you've got a flat back on the chair. Press the hands into the back of the chair. Draw the shoulder blades back. Roll them slightly away from the spine. Bend the knees slightly. And that same integrity to the core. Just stay for a moment here in our L-shaped pose. Let's walk the feet in towards the chair. Take the feet wider. If you're using a mat, maybe heels on the edge of the mat. toes angled out towards the side. And let's come back again, not to our mountain pose, but again, building that integrity of the core muscles from the pelvic floor all the way up, and bend the knees out over the toes for a modified squat. And lift for 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 6. And for the next 6, you can bring the arms up to cactus. 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12. And we'll hold arms in cactus, knees bent for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back. Rest the feet on the chair, walk back, and then take a few breaths now in our L pose. One more full breath here. Turn the right toes out, step the left knee in, our left foot in, left knee in towards the chair. Let's come up into warrior 1. But before we take the hands away from the chair, really make sure your foundation is strong in both feet, that the core is engaged, and then lift the hands away. And notice the containment in the front ribs that comes from that engagement of the core. Exhale, lower the hands onto the chair, lift the back heel, step back to our L pose. Turn the left toes out, right toes in towards the chair. Bend the knee in towards the chair, find the foundation, engage the core, lift, lift. Hands to the chair, lift the back heel, step back to L. And walk the feet in towards the chair. Turn sideways towards the chair. We'll finish our standing work with tree pose. Building the foundation, lift the heel, turn the heel out, come to the ankle, up onto the calf, or onto the inner thigh. Open the branches of our tree. Draw back towards center. Knee comes in. Switch sides. Lift the heel. Ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Open the arms. Back to center. Release. And let's come back to seated. So coming to seated, sit towards the front of the chair. Just get ready to cool down a little bit. Grab a drink. Find our seated mountain pose and breathe. Take the arms to the side. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold from the waist. And either bring the hands to the blocks or the floor. Inhale, come all the way up. Draw the hands back to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Just come up halfway this time. And again, bring the attention back to those core muscles we've emphasized throughout our practice today. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And draw the hands back to heart center. Inhale. This time with the arms overhead, take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and twist towards our right side. Inhale, lift the arms once more overhead, and exhale, go towards the left side to twist. Then just let the arms sort of dangle at the side and just gently sway from side to side. Interlace the fingers around. Draw the right shin towards the right shoulder. And release. Reverse the grip of the fingers and draw the left knee in. Feet onto the floor. Take the feet slightly wider than hip distance. Bring the knees together. Cross the hands, open. And this, we don't need to go real fast here. This is part of our cool down. And once more. And come back to center. Walk the feet together. And now let's prepare ourselves for final relaxation. So you can slide back in the chair, take a drink, make any adjustments to clothing, or add any props that you might need to make yourself feel even more comfortable during final relaxation. Sit towards the back of the chair and breathe. Let's close the eyes. And first, let's relax the breath. And as we relax the breath, almost feel a wave of relaxation that sweeps over the entire body. And let each successive wave carry you 5% deeper into relaxation. Let the body become very heavy on the chair. The feet supported by the floor, the thighs supported by the seat of the chair, the back supported by the back of the chair. Let the mind find rest. So finding ease in the breath, ease in the body, and ease in the mind. Balancing the effort of our practice. Now begin to deepen the breath. Move the fingers and toes. Move the ankles and wrists. Slide back towards the front of your chair. Take the arms to the side. Inhale the arms overhead. Draw the hands back to heart center. And thank yourself for making time for this practice today. Thank each other for sharing your practice. And thank you so much for allowing me to lead you through your practice today. Namaste.